Hello and welcome to the Ross Cloud Podcast. I'm your host, Carl Ross Sr. And this platform was created to motivate and to inspire in hopes that you will become a better you. You know, at the beginning of each show, I always like to give my shout-outs. I'll try not to take up too much of your time with the shout-outs, but this is my way of saying thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in to the Ross Cloud Podcast. And it's a kind gesture. And so I want to start with North Carolina, where I'm from. I'm originally from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Stand up. To the Gate City, Greensboro, North Carolina, Raleigh, North Carolina, Durham, North Carolina, the Bull Town, the Queen City. Shout out to you, Charlotte, North Carolina. And listen, and all surrounding areas, thank you guys for tuning in. You know who you are. I know who you are. I see you. Thank you guys for tuning in to Brussels, Belgium. Man, we got 14 listeners now over there in Brussels, Belgium. Now, and it's slowly and surely, it's starting to go up. We went from 2 to adding a little bit more, brother. So I'm super excited. Thank you to Russia for listening. Listen, Brittany Griner. I don't have to say too much about that. Brittany Griner. Thank you to those in Malaysia and Afghanistan that are listening. Thank you guys for tuning in. To my African family, thank you, brothers and sisters, for listening and tuning in. Chi-Town, thank you for listening over there on the West Coast, Los Angeles, California. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Ross Cloud Podcast. And I want to introduce my co-host with the mostest, the one and only, Mr. James Washington Jr. Whoa!
Woo, woo, woo. I'm back in the building.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. I'm so glad to have you here, too, man. Listen.
Word.
Man, we're going to go ahead and get into it. And, I kind of want to talk about slavery.
Mm-hmm.
And, just off of some of the research we both have done.
Right.
And just kind of talk about slavery and what we see happening today. It's a new form of slavery. It's not a new conversation.
Absolutely.
We all have talked about this before, but we're starting to see some other forms of slavery happening to our people, and
yes, sir.
Yeah, they're totally in bondage and may not even realize it. So
absolutely,
we're gonna go ahead and touch on to it. Go ahead and get on into it.
Yes, sir.
I said touch on to it. I really meant we're going to get right on into it.
Yes,
okay?
Sir. I understood.
So listen, man, I don't know if you've had a chance to check out Jeff Robinson. He's the executive director of the Who We Are Project.
Right.
He's a lawyer. And he did it won't be a thesis. He did a lecture.
Okay.
He did a lecture on who we are, and it dealt with the racism in America.
Right.
And the way that he broke it down, I literally watched the whole thing. We was just discussing how, we like to,
right.
You and your wife, you like to watch documentaries. Me and my wife, we like to do the same things. So
right.
I sat there, but this one had me
stuck.
Yeah, it had me stuck. I couldn't even move.
Right.
And so we're talking about slavery, and of course we know all the horrific things that have happened based off of how this country that we live in.
Absolutely.
That a lot of us, we're so beloved, but we don't think about a lot of the bad things, and
right.
the traumatic things that have happened as it pertains to us as a people.
Right.
And sure, there are other races that have endured quite a bit too. So it's not to diminish
right.
what they have gone through, our Jewish brothers and sisters, is not to diminish that.
Right.
In any person that comes over, any refugee
Right.
that comes over to.
Right.
Did I use that term right? Is it refugee? I wouldn't say refugee.
You could say immigrants.
Immigrants.
Yeah.
Thank you. More or less, any immigrants that have come to America is not to diminish their value and what they have gone through in
Right.
their rights. But we're here to talk about black folks because
Exactly.
we black. So, when he was doing the numbers, and again, if you haven't had a chance to see Who We Are by Jeffrey Robinson. You need to see it. It's on Netflix. I think it would be. He did an awesome lecture on racism in America. It was super.
Gotcha.
It enlightened us.
Yeah, like I said, once we finally get home, we take care of the kids and make sure they're good for the evening. That's something I'm going to make sure her and I sit down
you gotta watch
because like you said, we both love just kind of sitting down, watch certain shows. But we love documentaries. We love history. We love watching it, talking about it, learning from it. So
that's the only way we're gonna know.
You got to learn.
Yeah, and you do your own research too after watching it.
That's the thing. Don't just go by off of what we've been taught through mainstream.
Correct.
You got to dig a little bit deeper to learn about everything and understand everything, because ignorance leads to continual behavior.
I agree.
So,
and we see it today.
Exactly. And we're talking about slavery. So if you're not knowledgeable about what happened and what's continuing to happen, your ignorance is going to keep you in slavery.
Correct.
So that's something that's very important. So that's one thing that we love, and we make sure we teach our children about as well. So
I was going to say, if your kids, if they can sit still long enough,
well,
sit down and watch
I believe my daughters can. My son,
I get it,
buddy. I love you, son. But that dude right there, only time he does not move is if he sleep.
I got you.
So
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. If you can keep his attention on it,
Yeah.
But I think it's a great documentary for the whole family to watch. Shout out to you, Jeffrey Robinson. Man,
Word.
Shout out to you, brother. And so he gave a few numbers. He talked about cotton.
Mm-hmm.
He talked about how light cotton was. I'm sure you have. I have held cotton in my hand before, so we understand how light that is. But then he came with the analogy of something so light. Do you know how much cotton you had to pick in order for it to get to worth billions of dollars? Do you know how much cotton they had to pick when you take off the stems? The analogy, what he gave the scenario. He was like, if you take the stems off, take the sticks off of the cotton,
right,
and you place it in your hand, he was like, you don't realize how light just a little strand of cotton is. And you place it in your hand. Now, I've held it in my hand before. And when you think about it, he said, do you know how much cotton had to be picked and the amount of slaves that picked it and the billions of dollars that America made off of those slaves' backs? When you put that in perspective, dude, I can't remember the number he gave, but it was in the millions, and the amount of money was in the billions.
Right.
How much cotton they actually picked, bro.
It again, I'm turning 42 years old this year, and you saying what you said, it put it into a different perspective.
Yes.
Do you know how many deaths, how many rapings happen all because of that light piece of white material?
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of people died. And that's funny that you say that, because he went on to talk about, he broke it down even to when Homer Plessy, riding on the train, decided, hey, I'm not sitting in the black area. Same thing Rosa Parks did.
Right.
He just was on the train. 1896, Plessy versus Ferguson.
Right.
When he talked about that within itself, he was just talking about how racism has been embedded into the DNA of our society. I mean, it's part of our DNA.
Something else just hit me too, bro.
Sure, go ahead, bro. Ain't that something? It literally was the law of America.
Cotton, and I know this is something we're going to talk about, but
yeah,
like I said, it hit me, man.
Go ahead, bro.
We are still picking cotton today.
Mm-hmm.
Just before we came on, we started, and I didn't recognize how we equated it, or how you can equate. I didn't recognize how you can equate the two.
Yeah.
Cotton and money. The dollar bill.
Yes, sir. Yes.
You know how many deaths in the black community has happened because of the dollar bill. Now let's go back to the slavery days. You know how many deaths has happened because of cotton?
Listen, man, I got some numbers here that I got off of this documentary.
Right.
As I was watching it, because I knew I wanted to talk about it.
Right.
I knew I did.
Right.
And though it may be sort of, a lot of people may be fatigued from just the thought of slavery, civil
racism,
rights,
mm-hmm.
but racism, but
right.
we still have to address it because
right.
there's still not a lot of changes.
Exactly.
Because we're still being affected by it. We don't realize it. It's a trauma.
Yeah.
And we're still operating in that trauma. We don't realize it.
Right.
We don't realize it.
Right.
It's become the norm, right? We know we're going to go deep into it. But let me, because we going to the same place.
Right.
Bondage and slavery, same thing.
Right.
All right?
Right.
So let's talk about these deaths.
Yes, sir.
So these are the lynchings. In 1901, 105 blacks were lynched. In 1902, and this is the same information I got off of Who We Are.
Right.
So I'm giving you guys a little something to prick your mind, but in me doing my research and listening to Jeff Robinson, this is what he came up with.
Mm-hmm.
In 1902, there were 85 lynchings.
Mm-hmm.
In 1903, there were 84 lynchings.
Mm-hmm.
1904, 76 lynchings. In 1905, there were 57 lynches.
Right.
In 1906, there were 62. In 1907, there was 58. In 1908, there were 89 lynches. In 1909, there was 69 lynches.
Mm-hmm.
In 1910, there was 67 lynches. From 1887 to 1950, there was more than 4,000 racial terrorized lynchings that happened to us. But how many numbers are not accounted for?
I was just about to say that.
That's only how many. You just stated a few minutes ago. You know how many lives was lost?
Yeah.
You know how many black lives,
men, women, and children
are buried in the dirt that you probably never ever would know?
Yeah.
That's one number.
We learned something. I have to go back and familiarize myself with the story. When we went to New York, we took the family to New York in March for my aunt's birthday.
Yeah.
And we went to the African American Museum that was like in, it was in Manhattan somewhere.
Sure.
There was a burial ground that they pulled up. And these names, and these people don't even have names to them because they don't know who they are.
Correct.
And I'm pretty sure there were children, I believe, that were just killed.
Watch Who We Are. That's all I'm going to say to you.
We're going to watch it tonight.
Yeah, watch it. There's a tree that's planted by, I don't know if this particular landmark is referring to what you're talking about. But when you watch it, it's a tree that's planted in New York with a memorial to the deaths that happened right here. It was a landmark.
I think that's the one because
it's a very small plot. It's a tree with a little. It's very tiny.
I think we went there too because it's like this little small circle outside that you can go down into. It got like a lot of the different signs of like many different beliefs and stuff like that. we went inside to the museum. We was able to watch like a 10, 15-minute video, and then you walk through the museum, and then you're able to go outside to the memorial area. And that's where they found all the different children buried and stuff like that. But going back to what you said, like what you said, imagine all the unaccounted people. It's way more than 4,000.
It's way more than 4,000, bro. You know, and I know Mr. Robinson did his due diligence in his research.
Yeah.
But we gotta know.
Yeah.
We gotta know it was much more than this.
That's common.
$4,000.
He did his due diligence as
absolutely.
I guess you would call him a scholar. I'm not too familiar with him.
I'm not either. I didn't get familiar with him. I'm going to do my due diligence and research. I read a little bit of his bio when I before I watched it.
Right.
But I want to go even deeper.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he gave us those numbers based off his research and documents that
he said in the lecture that he gave, because it literally is a lecture in front of a big auditorium. Okay. But it was so beautifully done. It was so much information in there, Wu. Right. He probably couldn't get all the information that he had just in an hour. I think that lecture was about an hour, but it was not a boring lecture.
Right.
It was not. It will keep you in tune, especially if you're a person that really wants to find out who we are.
Yeah.
Such a great title.
Word.
It put it everything that he talked about. Put it in perspective. He even talked to people who was holding the rebel flag that was standing outside the monument.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And the question, I can't remember exactly. I hate I didn't write the question down, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But make sure you watch it.
Right. Like I said, we definitely going to watch it tonight.
Oh, it dumbfounded him.
So I'm letting her know, babe, it ain't no Married at First Sight. None of them married shows and nothing like that. We're going to watch tonight. Netflix, Jeffrey Robinson, who we are. So get ready. That's what we're doing tonight. Man, I'm telling you, even if you haven't watched that, as we're talking about slavery, Colin Kaepernick, his documentary he had on Netflix. So I haven't even watched that one either. I think what I did watch, I started to watch it was a TV show after him, but go ahead. I didn't get the chance to watch the documentary.
His basically is talking about slavery, but he was putting it in the context of the NFL. But it's nothing that we pretty much didn't already know, but because of his influence and what he's done so far as social justice with him kneeling, which a lot of people would say, no, he ain't done nothing, man. He's in the way. A lot of people would say that, but I have to kind of disagree because activism can come in so many different ways. You can't diminish,
I think that's
what he did. I'm not going to diminish it. Some would disagree with me, but I'm not going to diminish what he did.
Right.
I understood the stance he was taking and the why he was doing it.
And that was like the Fox News anchor who told LeBron James to shut up and just dribble.
Right.
You can't box.
Can't box those guys in, man.
You can't. Especially people of color. You cannot box them in.
We've seen it
especially people of color in America. You cannot box them in just by their sport or their profession in the entertainment business. For one, the first thing that they see us as is a colored person.
Absolutely.
So they have to live in that. You see them as an athlete, but we can't forget that y'all also see us as a color, as a thing. So when something is happening to the people of color, these athletes and entertainers, they have every right to sit there and speak up. My thing about that is you have so many actresses, actors, athletes that stand up and advocate for so many other things. But as soon as a black athlete, actor, entertainer, or anything like that say something that goes towards or supports us, they got to shut up. Hold on. So we're talking about slavery and how we're being treated and how we're still slaves, right? And you're telling us to shut up and you're treating us as slaves.
Period.
What do you want us to do? Oh, well, we know what you want to do. We want you to just shut up and dribble. Nah, we're not doing it.
Shut up and act.
Yeah. Shut up and sing.
Yeah.
Shut up and run.
Get on up there, nigga.
Yeah.
Do what I told you to do.
Exactly.
As harsh as that sound.
Slaves, man. Y'all still treating us as slaves.
So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But now we have become when I thought about talking about this, it hit me in my heart because I don't think I've really ever really sat down and really heard or listened to a lecture other than through Cornel West,
right?
Which was, for me, that's my favorite. I love Cornel West.
Dr. Cornel West.
Yeah, Dr. Cornel West, man. I absolutely love Dr. Cornel West.
Right.
But I've sat down and listened to some of his lectures on YouTube, and they are they long, but because of his charisma and his personality,
it makes it entertaining.
It makes it entertaining too. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Him and Dick Gregory.
Oh,
rest in peace, Dick Gregory.
Rest in peace, Dick Gregory.
Dick Gregory was one of them too. He was a savage.
Man, talk about it. I had the opportunity as a kid to see him at Wake Forest, and I also had an opportunity to see him in Albany, Georgia. As my mom, who she kept us, Shouts out to your mom. Yeah. I'm so appreciative for Mom.
She kept y'all in tune.
She kept us in tune.
That's what's up.
She wanted us to have a balance.
Good.
In life. And I think that's so important for our kids to understand. No. We're not telling you about hate.
Yeah.
But we want to tell you that there was a past. There's a history here.
It's just education.
We need to educate you on what happened to us.
Right.
So you can learn to understand the value of where you are, and also the value of what our ancestors went through.
My father's the same exact way. Don't get me wrong. My dad would sit up in that pulpit because he's a bishop. Shout out to Bishop James Washington.
Right on.
Senior out there in Maryland. But
man.
I remember. But I remember.
Couldn't get my laugh.
I remember watching him as he preached. But then sometimes he would sit there and talk about how horrible the system was and is towards the people of color.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate my father for stepping up and utilizing his platform, because he's doing the same exact thing that Colin Kaepernick, LeBron James, or any other entertainer would do. He just utilized his pulpit as his platform, and he speak about it.
Yeah,
and he understands it because he's experienced it. My father's 60-something years old, so he's been on this earth for a while. To be able to experience those things. I'm talking about from like government food to government messing with your water, your food, your education, all of the above.
Flint.
Doing whatever they can. Shout out to Flint. Because they still dealing with that.
Yeah, they still dealing with it.
Yeah, so my father, he speaks on that. He understands that. Because at the end of the day, yes, he will sit here and tell you, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a friend, I'm a brother, I'm a son, I'm a bishop of a church, but guess what? I'm still black. So I still know, I still understand what I got to go through here living on the face of this earth.
Yes, sir.
So shout out to Pops for that.
Right on. I love that, man. I love that.
Yes,
all right, Bishop Washington. Raised a good one right here. Praise the Lord, everybody.
That's right. Yeah, man.
Yeah, but I absolutely love it, man. And you know what else, though, man? I love about this, man. You also understand. I get an opportunity to hear your background. I know I'm getting off subject, but I get a chance to hear your background is very similar to mine. So you always know when you're in good company. Cause my mom was an evangelist in church for many years.
That's right.
Ooh. Many years. Boy, 5 baptized Holy Ghost feet.
Listen, my mom and dad still that way.
Yeah, man.
One thing I love and I respect them is that they allow us, their children, as adults, just be.
Yeah, that's the same way my mom is too.
They still gonna preach and teach us and tell you, but they still allow us to be.
But they still allow. That's love.
And go ahead. We're talking about slavery too.
Go ahead.
Even with that, parents, I think sometimes what we do to our children by trying to run and control them by your beliefs or by our beliefs, sometimes that can enslave a child in a way too. I'm not going to get too deep in that, but just keep that in mind. But I get it.
Yeah.
But just keep that in mind, though. But just going by what we talked about, man, just hearing about what Jeffrey Robinson was talking about, based off what you said, man, slavery still goes on to this day.
Yeah, let's talk about it. I think
they've changed the name of it from slavery to the prison system.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
That's why that documentary, such a great and dope documentary on Netflix called, I think it was 13.
That's correct. It's called The 13.
Yeah.
So if you haven't had the chance to watch that, please.
Exactly. Sit down with your family, sit down by yourself, just watch it, man. And then you will really understand how this country is a business.
Say that.
And what this country did was, all right, we want to keep slavery, but how can we change it? Let's manipulate the minds of the people, specifically the people of color. Let's say, hey, look, there's no more slavery. We abolish slavery. Everybody's created equal. Let's put into our bylaws, the Constitution. Let's put that up in there, right?
That's what they say.
But what we're going to do is, because we still want to make money off y'all. We want to make money off y'all Negroes. So what we're going to do, the dollar sign. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a system on top of the system that we already have in place here in this country to put you guys into a facility, a building, and trap you and make you do all kinds of work.
It's true.
Keep you under control.
Low wages.
Keep your family under control. Low wages.
$1, 1 cent.
Yeah. So it's still there.
Yeah.
You know what you're doing. You're not picking cotton no more, but you in these facilities making these different furnitures and different equipment for these companies,
all
major corporations.
Tags, these license
plates, all that.
Yeah, thank them brothers in there for making them. But again, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So that's what they're doing. Also, guess what? We can't pick cotton no more. You know what we're going to do? We're going to utilize a piece of paper to get y'all to start killing and robbing and shooting each other. So we're going to not only keep y'all physically enslaved by putting y'all into the prison systems, but we're going to keep y'all mentally enslaved as well.
Yes. So this is the only way you can make it.
We make a piece of paper of value, same exact way they did the cotton, a piece of material of value, which causes death, separation, anger, hate towards our own people. That's how we're still being enslaved. Bro. Not only that, we're implementing by putting drugs into these neighborhoods, weapons into these neighborhoods. So we keep you all separated from each other. Guess what? Because of we did this, now organizations are being formed, such as the Bloods and the Crips, which were organizations that were created to protect, provide, and empower neighborhoods. But
that's what it was supposed to be.
That's what it was supposed to be. But it's changed to now you guys are killing each other because of a color.
Yeah.
Because of a street.
Yeah.
Because of a territory that you do not own.
That you do not own.
We are still enslaved.
Still enslaved.
But what they did was, we're going to take our hands off of it. We're going to let them do it to themselves. Now, we will still have a hand in it because we're still going to lynch y'all. But we're not going to call it lynching.
No.
You know what we're going to do? Police officers, we give you the right to shoot and kill. And guess what? All those pictures that we've seen of lynchings in public is still happening today through our cell phones, through social media, because we've seen so many killed live in front of our face through social media. It's just changed. The only thing that's changed is just material and technology and how they're using the slavery.
How they're using it.
It's still going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that dollar, that almighty dollar. That almighty dollar will get you entrapped and enslaved, and you'll find yourself. And the thing is, capitalism plays a huge part in it.
Yes, sir.
If I'm a poor kid from a neighborhood and you say, hey, man, if you do this right here, I'll give you $200,000, $300,000, more money than you've ever seen in your life. And if you don't have a it's unfortunate, but if you don't have the standards or the morals the foundation that's strong enough to say, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Do you know the message that you're sending out there? Don't do that. Don't take that $200,000, because once you do that, you entrapped. They have you right where they want you, pretty much.
Let's not even make it 200,000. Let's make it 2,000. Hey, bro, old boy around the corner got 2,000 in his crib.
Good point.
You got your strap. Yeah. Let's go knock on the door. Act like we about to chill with him for a little bit.
Let's rob this nigga.
Exactly. Get up in there. Yo, bro, we just going to play video games, man.
Yeah.
All right, y'all come in.
Yeah, we see it time and time.
30 minutes into the video game, pop, 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 pop. Yeah. $2,000 and you take the video game. Yeah. Now you locked up because you for murder. So now guess what? You're back into slavery.
You're back in it.
All for a piece of paper.
And I love what you said from the beginning. So we were taught to hate each other. Mm-hmm. We were taught to love whatever the wealth is, but to hate each other and to hate ourselves.
Yeah.
Kanye, he wrote that. That was something he wrote lyrically. It was so crazy, but he wrote that. They taught us to hate ourselves and love their wealth, and it's a true statement, and we see it
Absolutely.
more so till now. And I'll say this: it's not to knock what we see and some black folks doing,
right?
But we've become the slave owners.
Yeah.
We've become the ones that are now enslaving our own people.
Well, I think that's been going on for a long time, because I just think that it's not talked about, but I'm pretty sure there was some slaves on the plantation saying, hey, massa, Jim Bob over there, he was over there. He put a couple pieces of cotton in his trousers, boss. I'm pretty sure it was slaves out there. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the women were doing the same thing too. Yes, ma'am. Lily Mae. I seen her take that extra piece of bread and put in her trousers for her family at home.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, and actually there were black slave owners. There were black slave owners in that day. I don't know their name right off top. I gotta do my due diligence and research that and study that. But I do know.
Right.
I think just now we are, and I hate to use the term woke. I hate to use that, but in a sense, it is an awakening in Black America, not only from a wealth and financial standpoint, but also from the fact that we're like, okay, history repeats itself.
Right.
So we know if there were black slave owners then of course there's a modern day black slave owners where now we capitalize off of each other's dollar. Well, I'm going to charge you $600 because they see all the rappers wearing this. So I'm going to make something that's worth $600.
We learn from what we've seen.
Yes.
America has a history of doing stuff like that. So, of course, it's only natural of us to see the wealthy do something and for us to mimic it.
Sure, it is.
I think he's in South Carolina somewhere.
Yeah.
Either he or someone in his family was a slave owner. No, he or his family, someone in his family was a slave.
Okay, I got you.
Once he got free, he became a slave owner. This is a black man.
Yeah.
So he only did what he seen white people do.
Gotcha.
To become wealthy. So he just mimicked the same exact thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's sad and that's unfortunate with
it is
our country today. We're only mimicking what the system has taught us to do. Thankfully we have people out here who are conscious enough and understanding that, hey, I'm not going to treat nor am I going to do my people like that.
No, not at all, man. And I must say, we don't like to drop names and stuff on here, whether good or bad.
Right.
We just don't like to drop names, but I have to drop this name. That's just like Shaquille when he made his shoes.
Right.
He was like, well, I'm not going to.
Exactly.
I'm going to make some shoes.
As affordable for the people who can afford it.
And they still look good.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we laugh at each other because I don't know why, man. our community, man, Lord have mercy. So
Right.
you come in there with some Shaqs that look like Jordans.
Right.
Oh man, you're gonna be picked on.
Again, it goes back to the mentality that because of what we see on TV,
Yes.
that you must have that. So we would do anything and everything we can to get the Jordans instead of the Shaqs. And then if we get the Shaqs,
Yeah.
we are being made fun of. Then what happens is mentally, I have to stop people from making fun of me. So I'm going to do whatever I can to get my hands on a pair of Jordans.
Yes.
That's why it goes back to that story we just said. Hey, yo, what's up, homeboy? Tommy over there, he got a video game. He got $2,000. What you want to do? You got your gun, right? Yeah. All right, let's go over here. You rob him, you kill him, now you in jail.
Yeah.
All because of what we were taught is wealth.
Yeah.
Which keeps us enslaved.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm pretty sure Shaq shoes is of good quality.
Oh, without a doubt.
Or of a quality that can last for a child or even an adult who doesn't necessarily have the money to be able to get luxuries such as Nike, Adidas, Puma, Jordans, Fila, or whatever you choose to put on your feet.
Right. Now, I will say this. The Pumas,
Mm-hmm.
you know, even Reeboks are a little bit more affordable.
Right.
Adidas. Just depends on what you... Now, we're not knocking... Let me say this. We're not knocking those that have an acquired taste for nice things. That's not what we're knocking.
Absolutely.
I swear that's what we're not knocking. But we have to remember that all of our kids and all of our children and all of us in our community can afford a pair of Adidas or
absolutely.
You know, so if Shaq is making a shoe, man, hats off to the brother for making a shoe
you got
that's
to, man.
affordable.
Hey, man,
and they Shaqs.
You talking to somebody? But I think the first podcast that we did together, I talked about my mother and father bought me some Spaldings for Christmas. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But
we laughed about it.
We laughed about it. I still laugh about it to this day
Me
because,
too.
again, that was one of the reasons why. That was one of the reasons that sparked my love for sneakers.
Man,
you understand what I'm saying? So I understand it. Even as a parent now, I'm not saying I got all the money in the world. Me and my wife, we're doing good for ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
But sometimes, you know, one of our daughters, I want the Jordans, and we have to look at her and be like, we don't necessarily have the money to be able to do that. But we will get you something that's cool, that's nice, that, you know,
I'm the same
you're
way.
good at.
I'm the same way.
You know what I'm saying? So you're good with wearing those on your feet. We understand what you want and desire, but the only reason why you want and desire that's because of what people say
is cool.
Cool.
Everybody want to be the cool kid.
Right. So we're trying to get her to understand, don't enslave your mind. That word slave. Don't enslave your mind or your eyes to the point where you feel like this piece of material is going to make you less than an individual because you don't have it.
Right. You know, I was thinking about, we hear it all the time on social media. We even see it with a lot of the black billionaires that we see today. They really don't wear a lot of the truck. They really don't wear a lot of the diamonds. If it's anybody that's wearing the diamonds, it's probably their spouses.
Yeah.
Now, the way that you know that they have it is if you see their property.
There you go.
Their houses,
land,
or their land that they purchase, or
that's the most important thing: land and property.
Yeah, it's about generational wealth.
Exactly.
And they might drive an expensive car.
Yeah,
but you won't see a whole lot of diamonds and jewelry not necessarily being worn.
Right.
A lot of times, if somebody's very wealthy like that, you wouldn't.
You want to know what I understand though?
Bro, you wouldn't even know it.
I never understood. I never understood why celebrities have so. I'll take that back. I understand it from a financial business point.
Yeah.
A lot of the celebrities have so many different cars, but majority of the time they don't drive. But I understand that they have it because they understand what it can be.
Yeah. And
you'll have a car today.
Tax write-off.
And you'll have a car that when it first came out was worth $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. They'll save it up. Then 10, 15 years down the line, it's worth $1.5, $2 million.
True.
Or a couple $100,000. So I understand that aspect of it. But a lot of times they don't drive.
You know, art paintings are worth.
Yeah.
They become millions of dollars the more they sit.
Yep.
But go ahead.
Matter of fact, B. Simone, I seen the clip yesterday. I was watching the clip. B. Simone, she was on Wild 'N Out. She does a lot of different stuff, especially on social media.
Right.
She was saying that she had a Toyota. She sold it, and then she went to the Mercedes dealership, and she was sitting in the G-Wagon. And she was ready to purchase it, and then it hit her. And she was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm always out of town. I'm always doing work. I'm barely here. What is the purpose of me buying this $100,000 vehicle? That's just going to sit.
Just to say I got it.
She was just like, yo, in other words, she was just saying I had to wake up and be like, God, no, this is not worth it.
I don't need it.
I don't need it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what she had to do. And slavery today is a lot of mental than anything. We are trapped into thinking.
Literally.
Yeah.
We talk about trap music, and again, this is not this is not old brothers on here knocking. I want to make sure I say that.
Right.
You have to say that nowadays.
Right.
That's just like when Method Man said what he said. It's not it's not a knock on it. You know, it's just like, man, do these young cats really understand the other side of what's really happening? Although they're building wealth and they're making money, there's a flip side to this too, though.
They are plaguing the minds of the young people who don't have what they have. Right.
Because I'll give a quick scenario from my own home. My son, Nico is 11, and so he was listening. When your kids play sports,
right?
A lot of times it's like, okay, this is motivational music,
exactly.
And they play it during the football games,
right?
And this and that. So we've become accustomed to hearing certain music,
right? But
one day we were riding. He was like, Dad, this right here is what I listen to on game day. I was like, all right, cool. So, I turned it on and, it was motivating him. He was bobbing his head. Yeah. I'm with it.
Exactly.
Come on. Game day. You're going to win, son. You're going to win.
That's right.
But I heard one thing.
And it made
me pause. And I was like, oh, hold on. Run that back again. Let me hear that again.
Yeah.
Let me hear that again. Because sometimes we're caught up in, this is, I'm chilling with my son. And this and that. And you forget something. The father go out because of your love for hip hop and the music.
Yep.
You understand where the culture of hip hop has come from.
Exactly.
And you get caught up in the moment like, oh, this beat dope, son. I like this beat.
Exactly.
And so one thing come out, man, it's like, whoa,
exactly.
bro. I said, son, wait a second. Pause that.
Yeah.
He said, what, Dad? See, you're not even listening. You're in a trance.
Yeah.
Let's say that.
There you go.
A spiritual trance. I'm all right. We'll touch on that another time. He literally was in a trance, bobbing in his head.
Right.
He ain't listening to the lyrics.
Right.
He might have been listening to them, but he don't really know what the lyrics mean.
Man.
They know what's being said. They know every lyric. So I said, run that back. So he ran it back and he said a few things. I said, whoa. I said, man, listen, son. I said, you know what you listening to? No, sir. No, it's just a song. You know, that beat hard, Daddy, and this and that. I said, whoa, man, take that back.
Yeah.
I said, I need for you to open your ears and listen to what is being said. And what it is gang culture is being invited into our homes. We don't realize, if you're not an in-tune parent.
Gang and sexual.
Yes.
We had
drugs, everything. But go ahead.
It's crazy because I had the same exact conversation with my daughters yesterday, dropping them off to school. Like, certain terms, they don't understand that it's gang terms. Certain sayings is sexual activity. Like, one of my daughters was sitting there talking about a song, talking about, we on demon time. They don't understand demon time is talking about sex.
And not only that.
Yeah.
Demon? I don't want to be at home and you in there start going into I'm finna go like Mom. I'm going to get some oil. I'm going to get some Norton oil.
You're going to pray for that whole house.
Oh, yes, sir. We're going to be anointing the whole house.
Man, it's crazy. Yeah, so I had to explain that to them. Even yesterday, I was telling them this driving to school. So I was just,
it's crazy.
I was playing some lo-fi hip hop beats. It was just beats. It wasn't no words, nothing like that. It was like that's a whole nother story too. They call it lo-fi hip hop beats, but I just feel like they're just hip hop beats. They just taking the category and they're created a title to take away from hip hop.
Yeah,
they were just hip hop beats, dude.
Sure.
But anyways, and it just hit in my head and was just like, so I started asking them certain questions. I was just like, you know what folk means? Like if you at school and somebody said, "What up, folk?" Do you know what that means?
It's a game.
They'll be like, no. So if somebody come to school and say, "What up, blood?" They was like, I heard it before, I never understood. I was like, what about what up, cuz?
What up, GD?
Or what up, GD? Or what up, Lord? Because you know you got the vice lord.
That's right.
Or what up, King?
Yes, sir.
I was like, I know y'all hear within the black community say a lot, but if you go to the wrong neighborhoods in New York and you say, what up, King? You got Latin Kings, or in Chicago or California.
Yes, sir.
So I'm teaching them that certain sayings that y'all don't understand.
Yes.
It's derogatory towards some people, so you have to be very careful about what you're saying. And then even like you said with your son, my daughter's there, his song on the radio, da 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 da, and I'll be like, whoa.
Are you listening to what they're saying?
Dude. No, I just like the song. I like the beat.
Yeah.
But you have to understand what they're talking about. You don't understand. They're talking about killing somebody in this song.
Yeah.
No, they're not. They say, or I'll say, they're talking about having sex. Because they're talking about them. No, they're not talking about that. They're talking about, you just real hype. And I'll be like, no.
Nah.
And that's why I want you guys to understand.
I want you to understand what you're
know
listening
that.
to.
Yeah, so what I started to do in my car, I'll play house music in my car.
Yeah.
I play lo-fi beats. I play a lot of Afro beats. Or guess what? We just don't listen to nothing at all.
Nothing at all. Listen, one thing that I give my brother a shout out. I got to give Al a shout out.
Mm-hmm.
What my brother has done is, which I think is so beautiful. He did it, and it was just beautiful. And I started incorporating it with my son. So I got it from my brother Al, and he started having my nephew John listen to old school hip hop.
Yes.
So his son knows the difference.
Right.
Yes. This is what hip hop was.
Yeah.
And so, they came over, him and his son came over to my place.
Right.
And he was playing Big Daddy Kane. And so me and Al, of course, was going crazy.
Right.
But I love the response of his son. His son knew the lyrics.
That's good. And
so I said, this is great. And so I told Nico, I said, this is what I've been telling you, man. This is what you need to listen to. So
it's crazy that you, it's crazy that you said that, though, because like when me and my son were riding around, I'll be listening to like Common.
See, that's what I do now.
Kweli. Because what he hates is like if we're all riding in the car together, especially if my wife is driving, right? She'll play the girls' music. So now he's like, Daddy or Mommy, can y'all play boys' music? So I make sure that when I'm in the car, if I'm listening to music, it's music that's going to be inspiring and encourage him to do something good. Because I really understand it now as a parent. Like growing up, I was just like, man, it's just, I get what they're saying. Like a lot of kids, it's just lyrics, but it's not just lyrics.
No, it's more too.
It's good music. Yes, some of y'all consider it as great music, but also coming from a spiritual standpoint and understanding mentally as an adult, as a parent, a lot of this music is spells that's pushing you and encouraging you to do certain things. And that's what parents have to be careful of.
Yes.
Like you got your young girls out there.
Got to be careful.
Singing certain lyrics to a song that you yourself don't even do it. Same exact thing with the men. You got these boys out here listening to these certain songs.
Yeah.
And you yourself don't even listen to it, or you're not living that life. So why are you encouraging that? I get it. It's just music. But what we have to do...
Entertainment. That's what people are saying.
It's entertainment, yeah. But what we have to do is we have to change it. We have to change it. You can make millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars.
That's right.
From off positive music. But going back to slavery, a lot of these corporations in the music industry are ran by white people. So they know how to make money.
Yes,
and how do they do that? They encourage our own people, hip hop, to continue to talk about and rap about sex, drugs, money, murder. And then you wave it in people's faces through music videos, social media, and you wonder why a lot of kids are shying away from becoming doctors, lawyers.
Yes, sir. The goal is different.
Like that. Yeah.
A goal is
like
different.
You've seen a lot of kids nowadays too say, hey, look, yes, I'm in college. I have the opportunity to go first round in the NFL, but I want to be a rapper. And then give up on a whole football career.
Yeah, it's a few out there who've done that.
You've done. I ain't knocking them, but you've done that, and you've eliminated the whole possibility of creating generational wealth for your family because you want to do music. I'm not knocking that,
right? But I
think they should have did was go to the NFL, make your money, create generational wealth, and then make music while you're doing it. If it's going to work, it's going to work. If it's not, it's not.
If there's something that you want to do.
Yeah.
I totally
you know what I'm saying? So that's why I try to teach our daughters now. Thankfully, one, she wants to be a model, actor, singer. The other one wants to be big in fashion. And then, lately my son, he just been doing a lot of creative drawing and stuff like that. So he's telling me and mommy, hey, mommy, dad, I want to be an artist. And I want to create that, man.
Yeah.
I want to allow them to sit there and do that.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't want to deter away from the topic we're talking about with the slavery. But yeah, I just think that music, it helps. Yeah. It promotes and it pushes towards the mental slavery in a lot of our communities, the black community.
Yeah. and look at how far hip hop has come. At first it was, for so many years they would say, "Oh, this ain't nothing. It ain't this'll go away."
Yeah, it's a phase.
It's not a phase. It has. this thing is taking a lot of these guys around the world. When you think about it,
I commend that too.
Absolutely,
because it really takes you out of. It takes you out of a place of slavery.
Yeah, it does.
Because a lot of people, like we had a conversation with our daughters and our son the other day. A lot of my children don't believe that there is people in Winston-Salem that has never left Winston-Salem.
Oh, yeah, it's quite a few. They don't know anything outside of Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's that slavery right there in yourself because, we understand that your financial situations has prevented you from being able to leave.
Yeah.
Not only your financial situations, but your health, your mentality, the way you think, the way you see things, the way you see life has prevented you from being able to leave. So guess what? You're a slave to Winston, or even Aberdeen, Maryland, or Charleston, South Carolina, or just wherever my family friends, or wherever you from.
Get out.
You're a slave to that if you haven't gone out. So sometimes, man, just
great analogy.
Just get up and just go.
Yeah.
Go to the next city over.
Yeah.
Go to the next state over. Well, I would encourage you to go to the next state over. Don't go to the next city over. Go to the next state over.
Man, yeah.
Get yourself out of that mental state.
Yeah.
But that's where we are now.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that, man. I was there as you were talking, man. As you were talking earlier, man, I thought about we both grew up in very spiritual homes.
Absolutely.
And I remember my mama, just coming up in church, she used to always say, protect your eye gate and your ear gate. and we laugh, just like now, we laugh about it. But I remember my mama always saying, protect your eye gate and protect what you see and protect what you hear.
Exactly.
She was like, don't be around everybody. You don't know how other people are living. And now we're living in a society where we really have to live by that, man. You got to protect these eyes
and protect your
ears.
Protect
your ears.
Yes.
And you have to protect your kids' eyes and their ears because guess what? It's right in our faces, and the protection that we have of our kids has got to be done a different way.
My 11-year-old daughter, she hates it.
Yeah,
she hates it because we'll say, "Hey, Riley, put that phone down."
Man, I do the same thing.
And that face would frown up and get so sad and mad. And
that's up.
It'll be like, oh, but she'll be. But what I understand is, yes, me and mommy, we go through the emotions and reactions from her. So we try to teach her. We try to check it. We keep it in place so that there's no disrespect towards us as the parents, as the adults.
Yeah.
But we also understand that it's really not going to hit her until she's an adult.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or
it did us.
Not necessarily even when she's an adult, but just when she gets to a mature level.
Yeah.
To where she understands it at. Right now, it's just entertainment. It's just fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But at some point, we understand it's going to hit her and she's going to see it. But we still have to do our jobs as parents to make sure that our children are not enslaving themselves to those phones or any type of technology or even anything. again, it's up to us, just like your mom said, put your ear and your eye gates up.
Yeah.
And it's up to us as parents to make sure that we're educating our children on those things.
And you know what? That's just what it is. We have to set a foundation in our homes to protect our kids from being enslaved in bondage to whatever that thing is that attaches themselves to our children.
Right.
We have to actually just pray and build that solid foundation to just be honest and very transparent with our kids and say, hey, listen, this is the reality of what we see now.
Absolutely.
But let me tell you, on the other side of this is hell, man. It's a lot of hurt. It's a lot of pain that's gonna come on this side. That's the constant thing I tell my son. I said, listen, you hear them talking about this. I said, but if that gun hit, I said, if that bullet come out of the AR-15 and it hit you, it's gonna hurt and you're gonna die.
Yeah.
It's gonna be no more.
Yeah.
I said, I want you to understand the reality of it. And if you hit them and you miss, then there's another form of bondage that's going to happen.
Absolutely.
And you're going to be in prison for the rest of your life. So you got death, you got prison, you got pain, you got a bondage that'll stay with you forever.
Absolutely. I thank your sister. Shout out to Tanya. I thank your sister for talking to one of my daughters about some stuff. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it's pretty much along the same thing that you just said.
Yeah, man.
But she broke it down in the sense of, when it comes to young girls and women, she had to say something to my daughter to get her to understand. And then when we talked to, when my daughter, she came to us and talked to us about it, she was just like, wow. It's crazy that I know somebody who went through that.
Yes.
So it puts a perspective on things that,
man.
I have to be mindful of my behavior, what I do, what I see, and what... You know what I'm saying? So I really appreciate Tanya for that, because
absolutely
she's a great help in when it comes to our daughter. When it comes to that, she's a great vocal coach, you know. But I had to piggyback off what you just said with that right there, because I don't think they recognize
not right now
how serious stuff like that.
Yeah,
like you had to pinpoint to your son, hey, look. Gun and bullets are real.
Oh, yes, sir.
It's not just a song.
Oh, yes, sir.
Because, again, if you want to go out there and live that life, this is what you're going to deal with.
This is what's happening.
So if you choosing that you're going to listen to that song and then do the actions of what they're talking about, man, like you just said, something's going to happen. You're going to be on the side of the gun or the opposite side of the gun.
Yes, sir.
And
either
then
way,
the consequences, exactly. You're either going to be dead or in jail. So which one? Or you're going to be paralyzed or physically incapable of doing something.
Yes.
And the same exact way with the women too.
Yes, man.
You know, whatever they're choosing to do whenever it comes to the things that little girls and women do.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not going to speak on that because I'm not a woman.
No, but
I let the women talk about it. Yeah. So for me, it's just, I agree with you. I'm like you. Yeah. That's why I look at my son and I tell my son now, hey, you can't do certain stuff like that, bro.
Yeah, the funny thing is, as we're talking about this and being enslaved, God, we got to end this, but I got to say this. As we're talking about our kids and protecting our eye gate and our ear gate, and most of the time things attach themselves to us because of exposure. What was you exposed to? And I hate to say it this way, but what aunt or that uncle turned you on to this, or what best friend turned you on to this, what lover turned you on to this, that have pretty much in the world we like to call it turned out. But what was you exposed to? It could have came through a sexual relationship, that person was in bondage with, enslaved with. So you have to be careful on the whole of what you attach yourself to and what you're exposed to. I remember, and I'll say this, I remember without divulging or saying too much, but I remember the first time I saw pornography. Oh, my God.
Right.
Boy, I thought I had saw a treasure. But here's the thing about that. When I look at what I went through from a standpoint of some of the failures that I have, the premise of some of the choices I made was based off of sex. It was not based off of friendship. It was not based off of friendships, relationships, getting to know a person. But again, we don't like to talk about the elephant in the room We like to run away from it.
Right.
We have to talk about this stuff so that we can save a generation from themselves. Say, hey, man, listen, as we're talking about slavery, see, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
See, we'll end up going all over the place.
Absolutely.
But I'm going to go ahead and let you make your point.
No,
we're going to have to do something else on this.
Yeah, we will. We're going to have to do a continuation on it. Yeah. It's the same thing that happened with me. Like, I was in the 3rd grade when I learned how to tongue kiss.
Right.
I think I shared that with you.
Yeah.
I've told my wife. I've told a lot of people, too. Mm-hmm. I was in the 3rd grade. I was in Germany. My father was stationed in Mannheim, Germany. And the little girlfriend that I had, again, I'm in the 3rd grade.
3rd grade.
I look at my daughter now. She just graduated, finished 3rd grade and she's going to the 4th grade. If my daughter came to me and said, hey, I tongue kissed a boy, man, I would lose
your mind.
My mind.
First thing you're going to do is get that strap. You're going to get that belt. Lord have mercy. Yes, sir.
A 3rd grader learning how to tongue kiss. And like how you said, a lot of the stuff that you went through in life was because of the sex. For me, I say that, choices. And I jokingly say it now. I said, I knew my problem was going to be women.
Absolutely.
While growing up.
Mm-hmm. It's not,
and a lot of the issues that I faced, it was because of women, whether it was financial or just dealing with the backlash from breaking up, getting back together, breaking up, getting back together, or anything like that, or having multiple women. A lot of the issues that I went through in life was because of women, and I knew that. And when I got adult, in hindsight, dang, I remember that day on a swing with such and such. That tongue kiss changed my life.
Changed your life. And listen, we're not using this. Now, I want to make sure I say this because you'll have people to say, well, you can't use that as an excuse. No, ain't nobody using this as no excuse. No. What we are saying is we have to find out the why. That's just like when somebody has been raped. Mm-hmm. 9 times out of 10, that person usually tends to repeat that happens to him, happen to them. Like, why aren't we asking, okay, well, R. Kelly, even though R. Kelly was very vocal, and we're not making an excuse. Let me say that. Right. This is not a thing to protect any damn body. Yeah. This is saying that, okay, we have to find out where the hell did he get the behavior from?
And the behavior came from a family member who did the same thing to him. So he just thought it was just a normal thing. So he just kept going on.
It's a cycle.
I'm pretty sure as he got to a certain age, he knew
absolutely
this is wrong, but it turned into an addiction in a way for him. So, again, like you're saying, Ross, we're not condoning that because neither one of us are condoning that.
No,
that's some sick ass shit right there. Excuse my language right there.
No, I got you.
But that's sick right there.
We
do not condone those silly stuff like that.
No.
What we're saying is, in order to heal, in order to heal, anybody has to go to the root of the problem.
Why?
If I got a cut on my finger, I cannot go to my toe and try to fix it or try to put ointment on my toe and a Band-Aid on my toe to fix my finger. No, I have to go back to where it is. And then from here on out, what I have to do is I have to be mindful of what happened to cause me to get a cut on my finger. Oh, you was cooking and you was using a knife. Okay, so I have to be mindful from now on that when I'm using a knife, I have to be very careful.
Yes.
That's just an analogy that I have to use. We have to use right now to break it down to what you were saying concerning the R. Kelly. The bottom line is any and everybody, especially when it comes to slavery, even when it comes to slavery, the root of the problem, it goes back to there's a group and there's a system of people that created it. In order for this country to be able to heal from that, it has to go back to the root.
We got to talk
in order
about
to fix it.
Mm-hmm. And again, we're not, I want to say this, we're not comparing slavery with black folks to bondage of self, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, my Lord. But we're not comparing the two of saying, okay, well, this slavery right here happened. Mm-hmm. And so because of that, I'm enslaved sexually. I'm enslaved to drugs. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying from a spiritual standpoint, you know, slavery overall has just been a thing that destroys humanity and bondage. We saw it from the beginning with the Egyptians and the Jews.
That's right.
We saw this. It was bondage. It was torture.
Exactly.
It was torment.
There was never a positive thing that came out of it.
Nothing, man, came good out of slavery. So we're just talking about slavery from the standpoint, yes, from us being enslaved as black folks. And then we're just saying that we have to look at our lives, too, and say, well, why am I enslaved to this behavior?
Right.
Or to this right here? Where did I get this from?
Right.
So it's just a matter of just doing your due diligence, finding out, well, why am I behaving this way?
Absolutely.
We always say that in America, you know, like not in America, but just period. Like what the why factor.
That's right.
You know, why somebody did this. Why did that guy shoot up
right
the middle school?
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Like, why did, you know, it's always a why.
Right.
Where did he get this stuff from? It's not making an excuse, but there is always a why somebody, there's always a cause and effect to something.
Each individual has to take accountability for themselves.
Yes.
Like we've talked about this before.
We
like
have, man.
Me and my wife in our relationship, we both had to sit back and say, hey, look, why am I doing this? Or why do I react like that? And for me, I had to go back. I had to look at my childhood. I had to look at how I was raised by my parents. I had to look at who I hung around and the people that I seen. I had to pay attention to the music that I was listening to.
Absolutely.
Just a whole lot of things. Yeah. And again, it's about taking accountability for yourself so that you do not stay enslaved.
It is.
We cannot control the nation. We cannot control the country. We cannot control the government systems. But ultimately, you can control you, your surroundings, and your behavior. And we want to encourage you to free yourself from slavery mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially by taking yourself to a place by seeking and getting the help that you need so you can remove yourself from slavery. And then in doing so, what you do is you encourage, you empower, you teach the people around you to do the same thing. And that's how we start freeing ourselves and our people. And then once we start doing that as a people, as a nation, as a country, then you start to heal this government system, this world, and everything that we do. So that's just what I would encourage people to do. It starts with you, and then it spans out, and it grows. It's like a virus, man. It's like a virus. Once that virus hit one thing, it attaches itself to the next thing, it multiplies, and then it grows and it spreads.
Yes.
So, and that's what we have to do in a positive sense. We have to do that in a positive sense.
Listen, I hope you guys have heard something on today that can help you become a better you. As we've taken our time to talk about slavery and put a twist on the perspective, period. You know, I know it's a lot. And, you know, again, we'll probably have to do this again. Because it's even more. I would love to get somebody on here.
Yes, sir.
That could even take us even deeper.
Yes, sir.
I invite somebody to come on to share with us on this dialogue.
Yes, sir.
That may be very well educated in this area, as well as very knowledgeable in this area. Either or, we would invite somebody to come on. If you'd like to come on and have this dialogue with us, you know, either by Zoom or actually come to the
Rawls Cloud Podcast Studios.
To the location. and come and sit down and have this dialogue with us. Man, we welcome you, man. Just hit us up at the email rawscloudpodcast@gmail.com. That's rawscloudpodcast@gmail.com. Listen, I'm Carl Ross Sr.
And I'm Woo Woo Woo.
And this is the Ross Cloud Podcast. Until we meet again, keep making it great. And just be great.
Be great.
Yes, sir. Keep being great, all right? Peace.